Hello there, and welcome to A Sleepy Science Effects. Asterisk, most people don't realize this, but your mind is doing something extraordinary right now. Even as you listen, even as your thoughts begin to slow, your brain is quietly repairing itself, letting go of stress you didn't know you were carrying, softening emotions you never had time to feel. This video isn't meant to rush you, teach you, or wake you up. It's designed to work slowly, layer by layer, the way your mind naturally heals. If you stay with it until the end, something subtle will change, not dramatically, not suddenly, but gently. Thoughts will feel lighter, breathing will feel easier. And when the final words fade, your mind will already be resting, long before you realize you've drifted there. Sleepy psychology. Fact 1: even when you fall asleep, your brain never truly shuts down. Instead, it gently shifts into a different rhythm. Like a city at night, where the lights dim but essential systems continue to glow quietly. While your body rests, your brain is still working, organizing memories, regulating emotions, and maintaining vital functions that keep you alive and balanced. During deep sleep, brain activity actually becomes highly coordinated. Neurons communicate in slow, synchronized waves, helping the brain clean out metabolic waste and reset neural connections. This process is essential for mental clarity, emotional stability, and psychological resilience. Without it, thoughts become heavier, emotions feel sharper, and concentration slowly fades. Your brain also keeps watch over your safety while you sleep. It monitors sounds, temperature, and physical sensations, ready to wake you if something feels wrong. This quiet vigilance is why familiar environments feel safer for rest. The brain can relax more deeply when it recognizes its surroundings. Dreaming is another sign of the brain's ongoing activity. In dreams, the mind rehearses emotions, processes experiences, and explores ideas without pressure or consequence. Nothing is random. Even rest has purpose. Sleep is not the absence of activity, it's a softer, wiser form of work. A time when the brain repairs, protects, and gently prepares you for tomorrow, all while you drift peacefully through the night. Asterisk fact 2: daydreaming helps your brain process emotions safely. Daydreaming is often misunderstood as distraction, but psychologically, it is one of the brain's gentlest tools for emotional processing. When your mind drifts, it is not escaping reality, is reorganizing it. In these quiet mental wanderings, the brain revisits memories and emotions without urgency, allowing feelings to soften instead of overwhelm. During daydreaming, the brain's default mode network becomes active. This network helps connect past experiences with present understanding. Emotions that feel too intense during focused thinking can be approached more safely when the mind is relaxed. There is no pressure to solve, fix, or judge, only to observe. This is why daydreams often feel distant or hazy. The brain intentionally reduces sharp detail to protect emotional balance. Painful memories lose their edges. Pleasant ones become soothing rather than distracting. The mind practices emotional regulation quietly, without conscious effort. In moments of rest, daydreaming becomes even more powerful. The slower pace allows emotions to pass through rather than stay stuck. What feels heavy during the day can feel lighter after drifting thought. Daydreaming is not wasted time. It is the mind gently caring for itself, rehearsing calm, and restoring emotional harmony slowly, safely, and without demand. Fact 3: slow breathing tells your brain you are safe. Slow breathing. It's one of the most direct ways to communicate with your brain. Without words, it sends a simple message: there is no danger here. When breath becomes deep and unhurried, the nervous system begins to relax almost immediately. Psychologically, the brain constantly scans the body for signs of threat. Fast, shallow breathing signals urgency. Slow, steady breathing does the opposite. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the system responsible for rest, repair, and calm. As breathing slows, heart rate gently follows. Muscles release tension. Thoughts begin to stretch out, leaving more space between them. The mind no longer needs to prepare for action, so it allows awareness to soften. This is why slow breathing is so effective before sleep. It does not force relaxation, it invites it. The brain responds naturally, lowering alertness and reducing mental noise. Over time, slow breathing also builds psychological trust. The brain learns that calm states are safe and accessible. Even anxious thoughts lose their urgency when the body remains still and steady. Breath is always present. And when it moves slowly, the mind listens, settles, and begins to rest quietly, reassured by rhythm and ease. Fact 4. The brain prefers familiar routines because they save energy. Your brain is an energy-saving system. It is constantly choosing the easiest, most efficient path through daily life. Familiar routines help it do exactly that. When actions repeat, the brain no longer needs to make new decisions, allowing mental energy to rest. Psychologically, routines create predictability. Predictability reduces uncertainty, and reduced uncertainty lowers stress. The brain does not need to stay alert for surprises. It can relax into what it already knows. This is why familiar bedtime routines are so powerful. Repeating the same gentle actions, dimming lights, washing hands, lying down signals the brain that rest is approaching. No explanation is needed. The pattern speaks for itself. Familiarity also creates emotional safety. Known sequences feel controlled and calm, especially when the mind is tired. New choices require effort. Routine allows the brain to shift into autopilot. Over time, routines become mental shortcuts. They free attention, reduce overthinking, and soften emotional strain. Even simple habits can feel comforting because they ask nothing new from the mind. In rest, the brain prefers what it recognizes. Familiar rhythms allow it to let go, conserve energy, and ease quietly into sleep. Fact 5. Silence can reduce mental fatigue more than sleep alone. Silence is deeply restorative to the mind. Even more than sleep, moments of quiet allow the brain to recover from constant stimulation. In silence, there is nothing to process, nothing to respond to, nothing to evaluate. Psychologically, modern minds are rarely still. Sounds, alerts, conversations, and internal thoughts compete for attention. Silence removes this competition. The brain finally rests from decision-making and interpretation. When silence appears, brain activity slows naturally. Neural firing becomes more organized. Stress hormones decrease. Mental fatigue begins to lift, not because effort was applied, but because effort was no longer required. This is why silence often feels uncomfortable at first. The brain is unused to having nothing to track, but after a short time, it adjusts. Thoughts soften, awareness widens, calm settles in. Silence before sleep is especially powerful. It prepares the brain for rest more gently than stimulation ever could. No instruction is needed. The absence itself is the message. Silence is not empty. It is space. And in that space, the mind quietly repairs, resets, and releases the weight of constant attention. Fact 6. Your thoughts slow naturally when lights are dim. Light has a direct psychological effect on the brain. Bright light signals activity, awareness, and alertness. Dim light does the opposite, tells the brain that it is safe to slow down. As lighting softens, the brain reduces the release of alertness-related chemicals. Thoughts begin to stretch, becoming less sharp and less urgent. Mental speed decreases without conscious effort. This is why evenings feel different. Under softer light, thinking becomes more reflective, more emotional, and less analytical. The brain shifts from problem-solving mode into rest mode. Dim lighting also reduces sensory input. With less visual detail to process, the mind has fewer demands placed on it. Attention drifts inward. Calm becomes easier. Before sleep, dim light acts as a psychological invitation. It tells the brain that the environment is stable and predictable. There is no need to stay vigilant. Thoughts slow. Not because they are forced to, but because the brain understands the signal. Darkness whispers rest, and the mind listens, gently releasing its grip on the day. Fact7.com. Music lowers. Activity in the brain's stress center. Calm music speaks directly to the emotional brain. Without logic or language, it reaches the parts of the mind responsible for fear, tension, and stress. As gentle sounds play, the brain's stress center becomes quieter. Psychologically, rhythm and harmony help regulate emotional states. Slow, predictable music reduces uncertainty. The brain recognizes the pattern and relaxes into it. Heart rate often slows in response. Breathing becomes deeper. Muscles release. Even anxious thoughts lose strength when the emotional brain no longer fuels them. This is why calm music works so well before sleep. It does not demand attention. It supports the mind without engaging it. The brain feels accompanied, not stimulated. Over time, calm music can become a safety cue. The brain learns to associate certain sounds with rest. Simply hearing them can trigger relaxation automatically. Music does not force commit, creates conditions for it. And when the stress center quiets, the rest of the mind follows, drifting gently towards stillness and sleep. Fact 8. The mind often solves problems when you stop trying. Many psychological breakthroughs happen in moments of rest. When conscious effort pauses, the mind continues working quietly beneath awareness. This is why solutions often appear unexpectedly. Focused thinking can create mental tension. The brain becomes fixed, repeating the same patterns. When effort stops, those patterns loosen. New connections become possible. During rest, the subconscious mind explores freely. There is no pressure to be correct or efficient. Ideas combine in softer, more creative ways. This is why answers appear during showers, walks, or just before sleep. The mind is relaxed enough to allow insight to surface naturally, psychologically. Letting go is not giving up, it is trusting the brains. Deeper intelligence. Some problems need space, not force. When effort fades, clarity often follows. The mind solves quietly, gently, without strain, proving that rest is not the opposite of productivity, but sometimes its most powerful form. Fact 9. Warm temperatures signal comfort to the nervous system. Warmth is a universal signal of safety. Psychologically, the nervous system associates warmth with protection, rest, and care. When the body feels warm, the brain relaxes its guard. Heat gently widens blood vessels, slows heart rate, and reduces muscle tension. These physical changes tell the brain there is no need for alertness. Emotionally, warmth feels grounding. It creates a sense of enclosure and security. This is why blankets, warm rooms, and gentle heat feel so soothing before sleep. The brain responds by lowering stress hormones. Thoughts slow. Emotional defenses soften. Comfort replaces vigilance. Warmth does not overstimulate, reassures. It creates an environment where the mind feels held rather than exposed. As the nervous system relaxes, sleep becomes easier. The brain allows itself to drift, trusting the signals sent by the body. Warmth is not just physical lie, it's psychological permission to rest. Fact 10. Your brain likes predictability when it's tired. When the brain is tired, it seeks stability. Predictability reduces mental effort and emotional strain. The fewer surprises the brain expects, the more easily it relaxes. Psychologically, unpredictability requires attention. Attention costs energy. When energy is low, the brain prefers known outcomes and familiar patterns. This is why repeated stories, routines, and gentle repetition feel comforting at night. The brain does not need to prepare or analyze. It already understands what comes next. Predictability also creates emotional safety. When nothing unexpected is coming, the mind can release control. Vigilance fades. Rest deepens. Before sleep, predictable environments help the brain transition smoothly. There is no sudden stimulation, no abrupt change. The tired brain does not want excitement, it wants certainty. And in that certainty, it finds peace, softness, and the quiet permission to finally let go. Asterisk fact 11. Gentle repetition relaxes the mind faster than novelty. Brain becomes alert when something is new. Novelty asks questions, demands attention, and activates curiosity. But repetition does the opposite. It tells the mind that nothing unexpected is coming. There is no need to stay sharp. Psychologically, gentle repetition creates predictability. The brain quickly learns the pattern and stops monitoring it closely. Attention softens. Mental effort decreases. Thoughts begin to drift instead of engage. This is why repeated sounds like waves, rain, or a calm voice feel soothing. The mind no longer tries to understand. It simply allows the experience to continue. Repetition also builds safety. Time the pattern repeats without change, the brain relaxes a little more. Trust grows quietly. Vigilance fades. Before sleep, repetition is especially powerful. It removes the pressure to follow or remember. There is nothing to solve, nothing to anticipate. Gentle repetition is not boring to the tired brain. It is comforting. It creates a steady mental surface where thoughts can rest, slide away, and finally dissolve into sleep. Fact 12. Your brain filters out most sounds while you sleep even in sleep. The brain is selective. It does not hear everything equally. Instead, it filters sounds, allowing unimportant noise to fade while keeping awareness of potential danger. Psychologically, this protects rest. Familiar sounds like a fan, distant traffic, or steady rain are quickly categorized as safe. The brain lowers their importance and lets sleep continue. Unfamiliar or threatening sounds are treated differently. The brain keeps a quiet watch, ready to wake you if needed. This balance allows both safety and rest to coexist. This is why familiar environments feel easier to sleep in. The brain already knows which sounds can be ignored. There is no need for constant evaluation. Over time, even new sounds can become neutral. The brain learns through repetition that nothing harmful follows. Sleep is not unconsciousness. It is controlled awareness. The brain stands guard gently, allowing you to rest deeply while it listens just enough to keep you safe. Fact 13. Soft voices feel safer to the brain than loud ones. The brain is highly sensitive to tone. Loud or sharp voices signal urgency or threat. Soft voices, however, communicate safety and calm without explanation. Psychologically, a gentle voice reduces alertness. It tells the nervous system that there is no conflict, no demand, no danger. The brain responds by lowering tension. This is why whispers, calm narration, and slow speech feel soothing before sleep. They do not compete for attention. They invite it to rest. Soft voices also reduce emotional intensity. Even serious words feel less threatening when spoken gently. The brain focuses on tone more than meaning. In early development, calm voices are associated with care and protection. That association remains throughout life. The brain remembers. When a voice is soft, the mind does not brace itself. Thoughts loosen, muscles relax. Awareness drifts. A soft voice does not push the mind toward sleep. It creates an atmosphere where sleep feels safe to arrive on its own. Fact 14. The brain releases emotional tension during slow eye movement during certain stages of sleep. The eyes move slowly beneath closed lids. This phase is deeply calming for the brain and body. Psychologically, slow eye movement signals reduced alertness. The brain shifts away from external monitoring and toward internal regulation. During this time, emotional tension begins to release. Stress responses quiet. The nervous system recalibrates. Memories lose intensity. Emotional reactions soften. The brain is not analyzing night as soothing. This process helps explain why problems feel less overwhelming after sleep. Emotional charge has been gently reduced without conscious effort. The body participates too. Muscles loosen, breathing deepens, heart rate steadies. Nothing dramatic happens. There is no sudden relief, just gradual easing. Slow eye movement is one of the brain's most natural healing rhythms. It works quietly, patiently, restoring balance. While you rest, unaware but deeply supported. Fact 15. Feeling sleepy often increases creativity. The mind becomes sleepy. Strict control loosens. Logical filters soften. Ideas begin to combine in unusual ways. Psychologically, creativity thrives when judgment fades. Sleepiness reduces self-criticism and rigid thinking. The brain explores freely. This is why imaginative thoughts often appear. Late at night, the mind is relaxed enough to wander without pressure. Connections that feel impossible during focused thinking suddenly seem natural. The brain is less concerned with correctness and more open to possibility. Sleepy creativity is gentle, not forceful. It drifts in and out, offering insights without demand. This state is not ideal for execution, but it is perfect for inspiration. When sleep approaches, the brain is not shutting down, it is opening doors. Quietly, softly, it allows imagination to breathe before rest takes over. Fact 16. The mind associates darkness with rest across cultures and history. Darkness has been linked with rest. Psychologically, the mind recognizes darkness as a signal to slow down. Without visual detail, the brain receives less stimulation. Attention turns inward. External demands fade. Darkness also reduces social pressure. No one expects productivity in the dark. The brain relaxes its sense of obligation. Emotionally, darkness feels enclosing rather than exposing. It creates boundaries that feel protective. This association is deeply learned. Even artificial darkness can trigger calm responses in the brain. Before sleep, darkness does not force rest, it invites it. The mind understands the cue immediately. When light fades, thoughts soften. The brain prepares to let go. Trusting the ancient signal that night brings rest. Fact 17. Relaxation improves memory storage. Memory does not strengthen during stress. It strengthens during calm. When the mind relaxes, the brain can organize and store information more effectively. Psychologically, relaxation reduces interference. There are fewer competing thoughts, fewer emotional distractions. During rest, memories are sorted. Important details are reinforced. Emotional context is adjusted. This is why studying before sleep can be effective if stress is low. The relaxed brain integrates information quietly. Sleep itself continues this process. But relaxation begins it. A calm mind remembers better, not because it tries harder, but because it interferes less. Rest is not forgetfulness. It is preparation for remembering what truly matters. Fact 18. Your brain uses dreams to practice. Motions dreams are emotional rehearsals. The brain creates scenarios to experience feelings safely, without real-world consequences. Psychologically, dreams allow emotional exploration. Fear, joy, sadness, and hope appear without judgment. The brain experiments. TED observes reactions. It adjusts emotional responses. This helps explain why dreams feel intense yet unreal. They are practice spaces, not predictions. During dreams, logic is less important than emotion. The brain focuses on how feelings move and change. By morning, emotional tension often feels lighter. The brain has already processed some of it overnight. Dreaming is not random. It is emotional maintenance, quietly helping the mind stay balanced. Fact19.com environments reduce mental noise. Mental noise comes from constant stimulation. Sounds, lights, movement, and demands compete for attention. A calm environment removes that competition. Psychologically, the brain no longer needs to prioritize. Thoughts slow because there is less to respond to. Internal dialogue fades naturally. Calm spaces also reduce emotional activation. Nothing feels urgent. Nothing pulls attention sharply. This is why minimal, quiet rooms feel restful. The brain is not overwhelmed by choice or input. Before sleep, calm environments act as permission to rest. Silence, softness, and stillness tell the mind it can finally stop managing and start releasing. Fact 20. The brain loves rhythms like rain, or a heartbeat rhythm is deeply comforting to the brain. Repeating patterns signal stability and predictability. Psychologically, steady rhythms reduce uncertainty. The brain syncs with them effortlessly. Sounds like rain, waves, or a heartbeat require no interpretation. They simply continue as the brain aligns with the rhythm. Internal chaos settles. Breathing slows, thoughts space out. This is why rhythmic sounds are so effective for sleep. They guide the mind without demanding focus. Rhythm feels alive, but non-threatening. It reassures the brain that everything is steady, in rhythm. The mind finds something ancient and familiar. Gentle reminder that it is safe to rest. Asterisk fact. 21 familiar voices feel comforting even when half asleep. The brain recognizes familiar voices long before it understands words. Even when you are drifting in and out of sleep, the sound of a known voice can feel grounding and safe. Psychologically, familiarity reduces uncertainty. The brain does not need to analyze tone or intention. It already knows what to expect. This lowers alertness and emotional tension. A familiar voice does not demand attention. It reassures quietly. The mind can rest while still feeling accompanied. This is why familiar narrators, loved ones, or consistent AI voices work so well for sleep content. The brain trusts continuity. Even if meaning fades, tone remains. And tone is what the emotional brain listens to most. When the voice is known, the mind does not brace itself. It softens, settles, and allows sleep to deepen, held gently by recognition. Fact 22. Your brain relaxes faster when expectations are low. Expectations create pressure. The brain prepares for outcomes, judgments, or results. When expectations disappear, that preparation is no longer needed. Psychologically, low expectation reduces mental effort. There is nothing to achieve, nothing to get right. This is why the mind relaxes more deeply when rest is optional rather than forced. Sleep comes easier when it is allowed, not demanded. Without expectations, thoughts slow. The brain stops checking progress. Awareness becomes softer and wider. Before sleep, letting go of goals signals safety. The brain understands that nothing is required. Rest arrives not as a task, but as a natural response to freedom from demand. Fact 23's gentle touch releases. Calming brain chemicals. Gentle touch sends powerful signals to the brain. It activates systems linked with comfort, safety, and emotional regulation. Psychologically, soft touch reduces stress hormones and encourages the release of calming chemicals associated with bonding and care. The brain interprets gentle contact as reassurance. Muscles loosen, breathing slows. Emotional defenses soften. This is why holding a blanket, resting a hand on the chest, or feeling fabric against skin can feel soothing before sleep. The effect is not dramatic. It is subtle and steady. Gentle touch does not stimulate, it reassures. It tells the nervous system that it is safe to rest. Fact 24: sleep reduces the emotional intensity of memories. Intensity of memories. Memories are not just facts. They carry emotional weight. Sleep helps separate the two, psychologically, during rest. The brain revisits experiences and gently reduces their emotional charge. Events that felt sharp during the day feel softer after sleep. The details remain, but the intensity fades. This process protects emotional balance. It prevents feelings from overwhelming thought. Sleep does not erase memory. It reshapes how it feels by morning. Problems often seem smaller not because they disappeared, but because their emotional volume has been turned down. Fact 25: the brain prefers simple thoughts when tired. Complex thinking requires energy. When the brain is tired, it naturally simplifies. Psychologically, simplicity reduces cognitive load. The mind lets go of details and focuses on broad impressions. This is why repetitive stories, simple imagery, and gentle narration feel comforting. At night, the tired brain does not want complexity. It wants ease. Simple thoughts feel lighter. They move slowly. They ask nothing. In simplicity, the mind finds rest without effort. Fact 26: slow narration helps the mind let go of control. Fast speech keeps the brain alert. Slow narration does the opposite. Psychologically, a slow pace signals that nothing urgent is happening. The brain releases its grip on control. Thoughts stop racing to keep up. Attention drifts naturally. This is why slow voiceovers work so well for sleep. They do not push information. They allow space. Control fades gently. Awareness widens. The mind does not fall asleep because it is forced to, but because it no longer needs to manage anything. Fact 27: calm imagery can lower heart rate. The brain responds to images as if they were experiences. Calm imagery creates calm responses. Psychologically, imagining peaceful scenes reduces stress signals. Heart rate slows. Breathing deepens. The body follows the mind's lead. This is why visualizing quiet landscapes or soft motion helps before sleep. The brain does not distinguish strongly between real and imagined calm. Gentle images become gentle signals, guiding the body toward rest. Asterisk fact 28: the brain becomes more suggestible during relaxation as alertness decreases. Resistance softens. Psychologically, relaxation lowers critical filters. The brain becomes more open and receptive. This is why calming affirmations or soothing suggestions feel more effective when relaxed. The mind listens without debate. Relaxation does not remove intelligence. It removes tension. In openness, the brain accepts calm more easily. Fact 29: safe environments reduce vigilance in the mind. The brain's job is to protect. In unsafe spaces, vigilance stays high. Psychologically, when surroundings feel safe, the brain lowers monitoring. Attention no longer scans for threat. Awareness relaxes. This is why familiar, quiet spaces support better sleep. Safety allows the mind to stop watching and start resting. Fact 30: the brain associates softness with safety. Soft textures, sounds, and lighting send consistent messages of care. Psychologically, softness reduces alertness. The brain does not prepare for impact. Softness feels non-threatening. This is why gentle visuals, slow movement, and quiet tones feel comforting. In softness, the brain recognizes safety and allows sleep to arrive. Fact 31. Your mind naturally drifts when overstimulated when the brain receives too much information. It doesn't always push harder. Often, it does the opposite, it drifts. This drifting is not failure, it is protection. Psychologically, overstimulation exhausts attention systems. When they reach their limit, the mind loosens focus to reduce strain. Thoughts wander, awareness softens. This is why zoning out happens in noisy or demanding environments. The brain creates distance to preserve balance. Drifting allows the mind to rest without fully stopping. It lowers intensity while staying functional. Before sleep, this natural drift becomes deeper and slower. The brain no longer tries to organize everything. Letting the mind wander is sometimes the brain's quiet way of saying, "Enough for now." Fact 32. Repetitive sounds quiet internal dialogue. Internal dialogue thrives on stimulation. When the environment becomes repetitive, the mind loses fuel for constant commentary. Psychologically, steady sounds like rain or a fan give the brain something predictable to rest against. There is no need to interpret. No change to track as the sound repeats. Thoughts slow. Words fade. Silence appears between ideas. The brain synchronizes with the rhythm. And inner noise dissolves naturally. Repetition does not silence the mind by force, it gently occupies it until it no longer needs to speak. Fact 33. The brain likes patterns more than chaos. Patterns make the world understandable. Chaos demands vigilance. Psychologically, patterns reduce uncertainty. When the brain recognizes order, it relaxes. This is why repeated visuals, rhythms, and routines feel calming. Patterns tell the brain nothing unexpected is coming at night. Patterned input helps the mind let go of control. Order becomes a quiet comfort, allowing thoughts to settle and sleep to approach. Fact 34. Sleep helps the mind separate emotion from fact. Strong emotions can blur perception. Sleep gently untangles them. Psychologically, during rest, the brain revisits experiences and reduces emotional intensity while preserving information. Facts remain. Feelings soften. This separation helps clarity return by morning. Sleep doesn't erase emotion, it places it in proportion. The mind wakes lighter, steadier, and less reactive. Fact 35. A relaxed brain processes fear differently. Fear feels sharp when the brain is tense. When relaxed, fear loses its urgency. Psychologically, calm states reduce threat. Interpretation. The same thought feels less dangerous when the body is at ease. This is why worries seem smaller at night. When calm replaces tension, relaxation does not deny fear, it reshapes it. The brain learns that not every signal requires action. Fact 36. Calm visuals slow neural firing. Bright, complex visuals activate the brain. Calm visuals do the opposite. Psychologically, soft colors and gentle motion reduce neural activity. The brain processes less, so it works less. This is why slow visuals feel soothing before sleep. The mind responds by slowing its internal pace. Stillness outside encourages stillness within. Fact 37. The brain remembers emotions better than details. Phase fade quickly. Emotions linger. Psychologically, the brain prioritizes emotional meaning over exact information. This helps guide future behavior and decision-making. Before sleep, emotional memory becomes more prominent as logical detail fades. The mind settles into feeling rather than analysis. Rest allows emotions to be processed without explanation. Fact 38. Stillness allows the mind to reset. Movement demands coordination. Stillness removes that demand. Psychologically, physical stillness signals safety and rest. The brain reduces alertness. Tension withdraws. In stillness, mental systems recalibrate. Nothing is required. Nothing is tracked. Stillness becomes a reset button for the mind. Fact 39. Slow blinking signals calm to the brain. Blinking rate reflects mental state. Slow blinking tells the brain there is no urgency. Psychologically, slow blinking reduces sensory intake. The brain interprets it as relaxation. Thoughts follow the body's lead as blinking slows. Awareness softens and rest becomes easier. Fact 40. The brain releases stress hormones more slowly at night. At night, the brain naturally reduces stress-related activity. Psychologically, alertness chemicals decline as darkness settles. The nervous system shifts toward repair. This makes nighttime ideal for emotional release and rest. The brain prepares for sleep by gently letting stress fade. Nothing is forced. The rhythm is natural. Fact 41. Familiar stories feel safer than new ones before sleep. When the brain is tired, it seeks certainty. Familiar stories provide that certainty without effort. There are no surprises to prepare for, no twists to analyze. Psychologically, familiarity lowers vigilance. The mind already knows the path, so it does not need to stay alert. This is why repeated bedtime stories, familiar documentaries, or no narrators feel comforting at night. The brain can relax into recognition. Meaning becomes less important. Then rhythm. The mind follows gently, without trying to predict or remember. Familiar stories create emotional safety. They allow awareness to drift while still feeling accompanied before sleep. The brain prefers reassurance over stimulation, and familiarity offers that reassurance quietly. Again and again. Fact 42. The brain prefers low-contrast visuals. When tired, high contrast demands attention. Sharp edges and bright differences activate the brain. Psychologically, low-contrast visuals reduce sensory load. The eyes work less. The brain interprets less. Soft shadows, muted colors, and gentle gradients feel easier to process. The mind does not sharpen its focus. This is why dim screens, warm tones, and soft visuals feel soothing at night. Low contrast tells the brain there is nothing urgent to see. As visual demand decreases, mental demand follows. Thoughts soften. Awareness relaxes. The brain naturally slows when the world looks gentle. Fact 43. A calm tone can override anxious thoughts. The emotional brain listens more to tone than content. A calm tone signals safety, regardless of words. Psychologically, gentle speech lowers threat perception. Anxiety loses its fuel when urgency disappears. Even worried thoughts feel less convincing when surrounded by calm sound. This is why slow, steady narration helps anxious minds rest. The tone becomes a guide. The brain trusts emotional signals more than logic when tired. Calm tone does not argue with anxiety, dissolves it quietly. Fact 44. The mind relaxes when it feels observed. Gently being watched usually creates tension, but gentle observation feels different. Psychologically, when attention feels soft and non-judgmental, the brain relaxes. This is why guided sleep. Narration feels comforting. The mind feels accompanied, not evaluated. Gentle observation reduces loneliness without adding pressure. The brain no longer needs to perform. It can simply exist in that safety. Thoughts loosen and rest deepens. Fact 45. Sleep helps reorganize emotional experiences. Emotions accumulate throughout the day. Sleep sorts them. Psychologically, the brain revisits feelings and places them into context. What felt overwhelming becomes manageable. What felt urgent loses intensity. Sleep does not remove emotion. It reorganizes it by morning. The emotional landscape feels calmer and clearer. Rest is the brain's way of restoring emotional order. Fact 46. The brain processes meaning more than words are surface. Meaning runs deeper. Psychologically, the brain extracts emotional tone and intention faster than literal language. This is why sleepy narration works even when tension fades. The mind understands feeling even as words blur. Meaning flows gently beneath awareness, guiding the brain toward rest. Sleep does not require comprehension, only resonance. Fact 47. Quiet reduces mental multitasking. Multitasking exhausts the brain. Quiet removes the need to divide attention. Psychologically, silence allows focus to collapse into simplicity. There is nothing competing, nothing overlapping. The brain finally does one thing. Rest. Quiet is not emptiness, is relief from complexity. Fact 48. The brain likes endings that feel soft. Not abrupt endings trigger alertness. Soft endings allow release. Psychologically, gradual closure signals safety and completion. This is why fade-outs feel calming. The brain does not brace itself. It lets go gently. Soft endings help sleep arrive without resistance. Fact 49. Safety cues reduce mental scanning when the brain senses safety. It stops scanning for threat. Psychologically, cues like warmth, softness, and familiarity lower. Vigilance. Attention withdraws from the environment. The mind no longer checks, listens, or watches in safety. Rest becomes natural. Fact 50. Slow thinking is a natural part of rest. Fast thinking belongs to action. Slow thinking belongs to rest. Psychologically, slowing thoughts is not a problem, it is progress. The brain releases speed when it no longer needs it. Ideas stretch out. Gaps appear. In those gaps, sleep enters quietly. Slow thinking is the mind's way of powering down gently. Fact 51. The mind becomes more imaginative in low light when light fades. The brain shifts its focus inward. Visual detail decreases and imagination quietly expands. Psychologically, low light reduces analytical thinking and increases intuitive processing. The mind no longer concentrates on sharp edges or precise information. Instead, it drifts toward images, memories, and feelings. This is why ideas often feel more fluid at night. Thoughts blend instead of separating. Creativity feels softer, less controlled. Low light tells the brain that performance is no longer required. There is no audience, no urgency. Imagination becomes gentle rather than demanding. It wanders freely without needing to be correct or useful. As sleep approaches, imagination slowly dissolves into dreamlike thinking. The mind practices letting go, one image at a time. Darkness does not limit thought, it changes its shape. And in that softer shape, rest becomes possible. Fact 5. To relaxed attention improves emotional balance. When attention is tense, emotions become intense. When attention relaxes, emotions settle. Psychologically, relaxed attention allows feelings to pass without resistance. The brain does not grip or suppress, it simply notices. This reduces emotional buildup. Nothing gets stuck. Relaxed attention is not distraction, it is gentle awareness. There is no effort to control experience. Before sleep, this state allows the mind to observe thoughts without following them. Emotions come and go like slow waves. Balance returns not through effort, but through permission. Fact 53. Gentle guidance helps the brain let go. The brain resists force, but responds to guidance. Psychologically, gentle instructions feel supportive rather than controlling. The mind does not argue. It listens. This is why soft narration works better than commands before sleep. Suggestions invite release. The brain feels accompanied, not directed. Gentle guidance creates trust, and trust allows surrender as control fades. Rest deepens naturally. Fact 54. The brain enjoys predictability before sleep, before rest. The brain seeks certainty. Psychologically, predictability removes the need for monitoring. The mind already knows what comes next. This lowers alertness and mental effort. Repeating the same sounds, routines, or patterns before sleep helps the brain prepare. Nothing surprises it. Predictability becomes a bridge from wakefulness to rest. Fact: 55 calm repetition lowers cortisol levels. Cortisol is the brain's stress signal. Calm repetition slowly reduces it. Psychologically, repetition signals stability. Nothing is changing. Nothing is threatening. As patterns repeat, stress hormones decline. The body relaxes. The mind follows. Repetition does not rush, commit, builds. It gently. Fact 5-6. The mind drifts more easily when not judged. Judgment keeps the brain alert. Without judgment, attention loosens. Psychologically, when there is no evaluation, the mind stops performing. Thoughts become slower and softer. This is why non-judgmental environments feel safe. Rest appears when pressure disappears. Fact 57. Sleep improves emotional resilience. Resilience is not toughness, it is recovery. Psychologically, sleep restores the brain's ability to regulate emotion. After rest, emotions feel more manageable. The brain responds instead of reacting. Sleep strengthens the mind quietly. Without effort. Fact 58. The brain prefers warmth during rest. Warmth tells the brain it is protected. Psychologically, warmth reduces alertness and muscle tension. The nervous system relaxes. Thoughts slow. Warmth becomes a signal for rest. Fact 59. Soft backgrounds reduce mental effort. Complex environments demand attention. Soft backgrounds do not. Psychologically, simplicity reduces cognitive load. The brain stops sorting information. Attention fades naturally. Softness creates ease. Fact 60. The mind naturally slows with reduced stimulation. Simulation fuels speed. When stimulation fades, the mind slows. Psychologically, reduced input allows the brain to downshift. Thoughts stretch out, gaps appear. In those gaps, sleep begins. Fact 61. Familiar environments help the brain rest faster. When the brain recognizes its surroundings, it relaxes almost immediately. Familiar environments remove uncertainty. There is nothing new to evaluate, nothing unexpected to prepare for. Psychologically, familiarity lowers vigilance. The brain already knows the layout, the sounds, the smells. It does not need to stay alert. This is why sleeping in your own room often feels easier. The mind trusts what it recognizes in familiar spaces. Attention withdraws inward more quickly. Thoughts slow. Muscles loosen. Rest arrives not because effort was made, but because effort was no longer required. Fact 62. The brain releases tension in stages. Not all at once. Relaxation is gradual. The brain does not drop tension. Suddenly it unwinds in layers. Psychologically, this protects balance. Releasing everything at once could feel unsafe. Instead, the brain loosens control step by step. Breathing deepens. Muscles soften. Thoughts slow. Each stage signals readiness for the next. This is why rest deepens over time. Nothing needs to be rushed. Sleep is a gentle descent, not a sudden stop. Fact 63. Quiet moments help emotional healing. Motion heals best in stillness. Psychologically, quiet removes pressure to react or explain. The brain can process feeling without interruption. In silence, emotions are allowed to exist without judgment. Nothing pushes them away. Nothing amplifies them. This gentle space allows healing to begin naturally. Quiet does not fix emotion. It gives it room to settle. Fact 64. The mind associates safety with steady rhythms. Rhythm creates reassurance. Psychologically, steady rhythms signal predictability and control. the brain feels anchored. Heartbeat-like sounds, slow breathing, or gentle repetition all reduce uncertainty. As rhythm continues, vigilance fades, the mind sinks and relaxes. Rhythm becomes a quiet promise that nothing is changing. Fact 6.5. Calm focus reduces overthinking or kink, thrives on scattered attention. Psychologically, calm focus gathers the mind gently in one place. There is no effort to suppress thought, just less space for it to spiral. Attention settles. Thought slow, calm focus becomes a soft anchor, allowing rest to deepen. Fact 66. The brain stores emotional memories during rest. Emotion needs rest to settle into memory. Psychologically, during calm states, the brain organizes emotional experiences. Feelings are placed into context. Intensity reduces. Memory becomes softer. More integrated. Rest is where emotion finds its proper place. Fact 67. Stillness reduces sensory overload. Movement creates input. Stillness removes it. Psychologically, physical stillness tells the brain to reduce sensory processing. Alertness lowers. The nervous system quiets. Stillness becomes relief. Fact 68. Sleep strengthens emotional boundaries. Without sleep, emotions bleed into everything. Psychologically, sleep restores separation. Feelings stay in proportion. The brain learns what matters, what can wait. Boundaries return quietly. Sleep protects emotional balance. Fact 69. Gentle attention feels safer than intense focus. Tense, focus intense. Psychologically, gentle attention allows relaxation. There is awareness without pressure. Nothing is forced. The brain stays open but calm. Gentleness creates safety. Fact 70. The brain prefers harmony over conflict. When tired, conflict requires energy. Psychologically, when tired, the brain seeks harmony. Arguments fade. Complexity dissolves. The mind chooses peace over resolution in harmony. Rest becomes possible. Asterisk Fact 71.com. Thoughts reduce mental defense systems. When thoughts are calm, the brain stops protecting itself. There is no perceived threat, no argument to prepare for. Psychologically.com. Thinking lowers mental defenses. The mind no longer scans for danger or disagreement. This allows awareness to soften. Attention becomes open instead of guarded, defensive. Tension fades quietly, without effort, in calmness. The brain feels safe enough to rest. Fact 72. The mind relaxes when control is released. Control requires energy. Letting go saves it. Psychologically, when the mind stops managing every detail, it relaxes naturally. There is no need to plan, fix, or predict. Thoughts slow because nothing depends on them. Rest appears when responsibility disappears. Fact 73. Sleep helps integrate emotional experiences arrive fragmented. Sleep brings them together. Psychologically, during rest, emotions are woven into understanding. What felt confusing becomes coherent. Sleep creates continuity, not clarity through effort, but through quiet integration. Fact 74. The brain favors simplicity at night. Complexity keeps the brain awake. Psychologically, nighttime thinking becomes simpler by design. Details fall away. Essentials remain. Simplicity reduces mental weight. The brain rests best when it carries less. Fact 75. Reduced noise improves mental clarity. Noise fragments attention. Psychologically, quiet allows thoughts to line up gently. Clarity does not sharpen, it settles in reduced noise. The mind breathes more easily. Fact 76. The mind becomes less critical when relaxed. Criticism requires alertness. Psychologically, relaxation softens judgment. Thoughts lose their edge. Self-evaluation fades. Kindness replaces scrutiny as the mind rests. Fact 77. Gentle imagery supports Emotional calm images shape feeling. Psychologically, gentle imagery lowers emotional intensity. The brain responds as if calm were present. Soft images become emotional signals of safety. Fact 78. The brain associates softness with care. Softness implies protection. Psychologically, the brain links soft textures, sounds, and light with care. Care reduces vigilance. Softness invites rest. Fact 79. Quiet repetition builds psychological safety. Safety grows through consistency. Psychologically, repeating calm patterns reassures the brain. Nothing changes. Nothing threatens. Trust forms slowly. In trust, the mind lets go. Fact 80. Sleep restores emotional balance. Naturally, balance is not forced. Psychologically, sleep resets emotional systems gently. Reactivity fades. Stability returns. Nothing. It's fixed. Everything is restored. Sleep completes what the day began. Asterisk. Fact 81. The mind processes fear more softly during rest. Fear sharpens when the mind is alert. During rest, its edges soften. Psychologically, relaxation lowers threat sensitivity. The brain no longer treats every worry as urgent. Fear becomes quieter, less demanding. Thoughts that felt overwhelming earlier lose their intensity. Rest does not eliminate fear, changes how it is held. In calm states, fear passes through instead of staying stuck. Fact 82. Calm narration reduces. Mental resistance appears when the mind feels pushed. Psychologically calm narration removes pressure. There is no demand to follow closely or understand deeply. The mind listens without defending itself. As resistance fades, attention loosens. Rest enters naturally when nothing argues back. Fact 83. The brain prefers slow transitions. Abrupt changes signal danger. Psychologically, slow transitions feel safe and predictable. The brain adjusts without alertness. This is why gradual dimming, fading sounds, and slow pacing help before sleep. Nothing surprises the mind in slowness. The brain releases control. Fact 84. Emotional intensity fades with sleep. Emotions amplify with fatigue. Psychologically, sleep reduces emotional volume. Feelings become proportionate again. What felt heavy feels manageable. Sleep restores emotional perspective quietly, without explanation. Fact 85. Stillness allows subconscious processing. The subconscious works best without interruption. Psychologically, stillness removes interference from conscious thought. Deeper processing continues quietly beneath awareness. Nothing needs attention in stillness. The mind completes unfinished work. Fact 86. The brain feels safer in predictable spaces. Predictability reduces uncertainty. Psychologically, known spaces lower vigilance. The brain already understands the environment. Attention withdraws. Safety allows rest to deepen. Fact 87. Calm attention improves mood stability. Scattered attention destabilizes emotion. Psychologically, calm attention steadies mood. Feelings rise and fall gently. There is less reactivity. Stability returns through softness, not control. Fact 88. The mind drifts when pressure disappears. Pressure keeps thoughts sharp. Psychologically, when pressure fades, the mind loosens focus. Thoughts wander. Drifting is not distraction, it is recovery in drifting. Rest approaches quietly. Fact 89. Sleep helps emotions settle gently. Emotion needs time, not force. Psychologically, sleep gives feelings space to settle. Nothing is rushed. Balance returns naturally. Sleep completes emotional processing without effort. Fact 90. The brain releases worry in layers. Worry does not vanish instantly. Psychologically, the brain releases it gradually. Each layer softens, then fades. This slow release feels safer than sudden relief. Rest happens one layer at a time. Asterisk fact 91 soft sounds reduce alertness. Safely soft sounds do not demand attention. They exist gently in the background, allowing the brain to relax without feeling unprotected. Psychologically, low volume, steady sounds signal safety. They are present but not urgent. Brain does not need to focus on them. This reduces alertness. Gradually, thoughts loosen. Awareness softens. Soft sounds feel like company without conversation. They allow the mind to rest while still feeling held by the environment. Fact 92. The mind relaxes when expectations fade. Expectation creates tension. When nothing is expected, the mind releases effort. Psychologically, removing expectation tells the brain there is nothing to prepare for. Thoughts slow. Monitoring stops. Rest appears naturally when there is no future task to anticipate. Sleep does not arrive by foresight, arrives when expectation disappears. Fact 93. Sleep strengthens emotional regulation. Emotional regulation depends on rest. Psychologically, sleep restores the brain's ability to respond calmly instead of reacting quickly after rest. Emotions feel balanced and proportional. Sleep strengthens this system quietly. Without conscious effort, it is emotional maintenance, performed overnight. Fact 94. The brain prefers warmth and quiet together. Warmth relaxes the body. Quiet relaxes the mind. Psychologically, together they signal deep safety. The nervous system settles. Thoughts slow. Warmth and quiet create ideal conditions for sleep to arrive gently. Fact95.com. Environments reduce mental fatigue comes from constant input. Psychologically, calm environments remove that burden. The brain no longer processes, decides, or reacts. Fatigue lifts not through stimulation, but through absence of demand. Rest restores clarity quietly. Fact 96. The mind processes meaning during rest even. As words fade, meaning remains. Psychologically, the brain continues processing significance during rest. Understanding deepens without awareness. Nothing needs to be followed. Meaning settles gently beneath consciousness. Fact 97. Sleep helps heal emotional overload. Overload overwhelms the nervous system. Psychologically, sleep gives it space to recover. Intensity fades, balance returns. Sleep heals by allowing emotion to settle naturally. Fact 98. Gentle focus calms the nervous system. Gentle focus is attention without pressure. Psychologically, it stabilizes the nervous system. Nothing is forced. The brain feels safe enough to slow down in gentleness. Calm spreads. Fact 99. The brain loves peace more than productivity. Productivity belongs to daylight. Psychologically, the brain values peace when night arrives. There is no need to achieve. Peace restores what effort cannot. Rest becomes meaningful simply by existing. Fact 100. Rest is when the mind quietly repairs itself. It is not emptiness. Psychologically, it is active repair. Connections are restored. Emotions recalibrated. Balance renewed. Nothing dramatic happens. Just quiet healing. And as the mind repairs itself, sleep completes the work gently, softly, and fully.